The evening was supposed to mark a new beginning, our new house, our fresh chapter. The future we had promised to build side by side. Friends, colleagues, neighbours, everyone came carrying wrapped presents, wine bottles, and bright smiles. Laughter filled every corner of the house. I stayed near the grill outside, greeting guests as they arrived, shaking hands, making sure drinks were full, and everything stayed on track. I felt accomplished, proud of the home we had purchased, proud of the milestone, proud of the marriage I believed was solid. Emma drifted through the rooms as if she owned the spotlight. She looked stunning, graceful, magnetic, effortlessly charming. She captivated every person she spoke to. I thought she was simply being the perfect hostess. I was wrong. She wasn't hosting. She was preparing something far darker. Early in the evening, a strange feeling settled in my chest. Emma kept slipping away, to the hallway, to the kitchen, murmuring into her phone. She claimed she was checking on food or refilling glasses, though nothing required attention. Whenever I came near, she flashed an exaggerated smile, brushed her fingers lightly against my arm and disappeared again. I convinced myself it was nothing. Crowds sometimes made her anxious. She always found small tasks to keep busy. Then Adrian showed up, her co-worker, young, athletic, self-assured, the kind of man who draws eyes the moment he enters a room. Emma's reaction to him was immediate and unmistakable. The instant he walked through the door, her entire demeanor shifted. She glowed in a way I hadn't seen directed at me in months. They gravitated toward a corner together, speaking in low tones, laughing privately, leaning close enough that their shoulders pressed together. People noticed. I saw glances exchanged, subtle tension in the air. One of my friends leaned toward me and murmured, "Everything all right between you two?" I forced a grin and pretended blindness to what everyone else could clearly see. The illusion shattered when I stepped into the hallway and witnessed Adrienne's hand slide to the small of her back, resting there longer than casual contact allowed. She didn't move away. She didn't object. She smiled. My chest tightened. I walked up calmly, quietly, praying I had misunderstood. I said her name gently and asked if we could step outside for a moment. Instead, she crossed her arms, rolled her eyes dramatically, and replied loudly enough for nearby guests to hear, "Not now. Don't ruin the night." The contempt in her voice hurt more than the words themselves. I swallowed the humiliation and stepped outside alone, drawing slow breaths, trying to steady the storm rising inside me. When I returned, everything was beyond repair. She stood in the center of the living room, flushed and trembling with intensity. Adrienne stood beside her, too close, far too close. Guests had formed a loose circle around them, confusion and tension spreading through the room. Someone must have demanded an explanation, because suddenly she erupted. Her finger shot toward me, hands shaking, voice piercing through the music until the room fell silent. "Yes, we're sleeping together," she screamed. "He's better than you. Now get out. Just leave." Time froze. Gasps echoed. Someone whispered in disbelief. It felt like something inside my chest collapsed completely. Her words weren't just cruel. They were public execution, merciless, deliberate, final, in our house. At our party, in front of everyone we knew. But the most shocking detail. Adrienne looked stunned. He clearly hadn't anticipated this explosion. He stepped away from her, confusion written across his face. "Emma, what the hell?" he muttered. She ignored him entirely. Her eyes remained locked on me, breathing hard, as though she had finally shattered invisible chains. I didn't shout. I didn't argue. I didn't demand answers. I inhaled slowly, gave a single nod, and walked toward the door. People parted silently as I passed, as if I were already gone. She expected a confrontation. Tears, anger, desperation. I gave her nothing. I simply left. That silence did more damage than any outburst could have. The moment the door closed behind me, the fantasy she had constructed collapsed in front of her audience. Voices rose immediately. "That's disgusting," one co-worker muttered. A neighbor shook his head in open disappointment. You humiliated your husband for what? Someone else asked. Adrienne pulled completely away from her. I never signed up for this, he said firmly. You're out of your mind. I'm not part of whatever story you've invented. Then he walked out. The better man she had proclaimed abandoned her. The second reality demanded accountability. Within minutes, guests began leaving, whispering, judging, stunned. The celebration dissolved into disgrace. Emma remained alone, in the middle of the living room, the house I had paid for, surrounded by empty glasses, dirty plates, and the wreckage of her own spectacle. That night, my phone rang 27 times. Long texts followed. Voice messages soaked in tears. Apologies. Claims that she hadn't meant it. That she only wanted attention. That alcohol had clouded her judgment. But none of that mattered. She had revealed herself to everyone. And in doing so, she destroyed everything I never returned. The following morning, her parents arrived after hearing about the disaster. They found her curled up on the couch, crying into her hands. The house was silent now, lifeless. Everything remained except the marriage she had reduced to ashes with her own hands. She wanted me gone. She wanted him instead. She craved chaos, validation, control. What she received was something she never anticipated. Consequences.